Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is 9 p.m. Thursday night, July 4, 2024. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video. I'd really appreciate it if you guys get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more weather lovers or rain lovers just like you guys so that we can keep everyone safe this hurricane season. Share this video with your friends, your coworkers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Leave a comment down below letting me know that that's been liking your year recently. Also, feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so before I even jump into it, I must say that I am back from my Montego Bay vacation. I was there for the past week, for the past couple of days actually, which explains the updates that were posted because I know that if I was home, there wouldn't have been much updates coming out. Considering that JPS turned the electricity off from in the morning of Beryl, that's Wednesday morning. So I am definitely grateful that I was on this vacation. There was a generator there, there was internet, thank goodness for flow. And I am back in Kingston as we speak. I'm actually at work. I'm actually shocked that in Kingston we have electricity downtown side. Unfortunately, the roof in my building is damaged and my stuff has even gotten wet. My desk is wet. The computer in my office is wet. It's crazy, but thankful. The AC is working even although it was soaked. The internet is working, so that's all I need. I called my father earlier. He said that there is no electricity. So it wouldn't even make sense that I go home or I would definitely be unavailable just like what I posted on my Twitter, Instagram, Facebook page. But I want to keep everyone safe this weekend before I go home. So, before I even jump into what's happening across Jamaica and the future for Jamaica, let us focus our attention for a second on Hurricane Beryl. So, it's no longer Major Hurricane Beryl. It has downgraded back to a 110 mile per hour hurricane. That's about a what category 2 hurricane. You know, category 3 is exceeding 110 miles per hour. And then we have 4 and 5. And we can see it right here to the east of the Yucatan Peninsula getting ready to move westward into that area that's northeastern Mexico. They're under a hurricane warning in the red. They have also a tropical storm warning on the northern and northwest side of the Yucatan Peninsula, and even a tropical storm watch for a portion of northeastern Belize. We also see the wind field associated with that system in the gold colors, and it is right here as of 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 7 p.m. Jamaica time. If we look back actually at a post that was made here on our Twitter page, thank God that we were spared a direct hit, although Major Hurricane Beryl didn't make landfall. Her eye wall with the strongest winds and heaviest rain battered parts of Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth, and Westmoreland. Footage of the damage expected Thursday should be very bad, and it was very bad based on what was coming out. But first, let us take a look at the actual track. This was actually projected quite nicely from the Hurricane Center and the Euro and the GFS supercomputer models. Definitely was on that west northwest track, and the eye came past the south coast of Jamaica, even although the eye wall definitely brushed southwestern Jamaica, definitely Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth, definitely got the brunt of it. And if we actually take a look at some other maps, this was the actual infrared close-up satellite images. We can even see the eye right there. This is an incredible satellite image of Jamaica, to be honest. Look at the central dense overcast. Look at the core of the system. Incredible. Not to mention the amount of strikes, if not flashes of lightning, right here on the northeastern eye wall. It was definitely a bad situation. And just like the Prime Minister said, we were spared the worst, considering the majority of the island experienced more in the way of tropical storm force winds than the actual Category 4 force winds that were affecting sections of southern and southwestern Jamaica, so Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth, unfortunate for you guys, got the brunt of the system, but we are indeed grateful that the rest of the island didn't get it as badly. But I want to put more focus on the Cuban Doppler radar images. These images told the tale of what really took place. Look at this. This is ridiculous, and we really wish that the Jamaican Doppler radar was working at the time, but unfortunately, it wasn't. According to Evan Thompson, I spoke to him about what, 5, 6 weeks ago, and he said that it should be up and running by July, hopefully. That's true. Hopefully, I don't have to be calling back in August, wondering what's going on again. Either way, we can see the yellows, the gold colors that represent the intense rainfall and strong winds associated with the northern eye wall, battering sections of southern Clarendon, so definitely Portland Cottage and other areas to the north of there got the strong winds. And this was valid for 3 p.m. on Wednesday. Then, skipping ahead to about 5 p.m., the Cuban Doppler radar images were posted again. And that was when we saw the eye wall raking portions of southern Manchester, sections of St. Catherine right there. Look at all of that. And the heavy rainfall was still continuing across sections of the other parishes of Jamaica. This is actually one of my favorite infrared satellite images. If you haven't noticed, my display picture is of Hurricane Ivan, but this Beryl is incredible. This is actually incredible. From a meteorological perspective, look at the system, the outer bands, the central dense overcast, the thunderstorms, and look at it passing to the south of Jamaica. A very similar track to what Hurricane Ivan did. A very bad storm. I don't like these things, but from a meteorological perspective, you can understand why we actually, are fascinated by such things. Then finally, by about 8:30 p.m., we saw that the core of Beryl was out of here, the eye to be exact, more off towards the west of the island. And we still had a lot of rainfall coming in, more so from the south and curving around the system like that, which explains why even in the night we had the heaviest rainfall, thunderstorms, flash flooding taking place. That eastern side is always the worst side of these systems in terms of the heavy rainfall, the strong winds as well. So it makes sense as to why most persons weren't feeling it in the morning. The morning was void of any rainfall. More so Portland, St. Thomas got the brunt of it. Persons in Kingston wondering if the storm is actually coming. But it did indeed come before all was said and done. I know many of you guys are without electricity. I'm even without electricity. Hopefully the public service gets it sorted out as soon as possible. Alright, so let us take a look at what took place across Jamaica today. We saw that during the afternoon, 3:35 p.m., even earlier than that, we had some clouds affecting portions of the north coast. And we know northern parishes, we're talking about those parishes on top, so Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland. And we saw that we definitely had some clouds coming into sections of St. Anne, section of Trelawney. Even when I was leaving Montego Bay, there, well, St. James, there is definitely some amount of clouds bringing some isolated showers to those spots. And while I was traversing, trying to get back to Kingston, there was definitely some rainfall on the way in Trelawney and St. Anne as well. So that indeed confirms the rainfall for those spots. And we saw that the south coast was definitely void of rainfall, definitely sunny for the most part, as we can see here on See Jamaica's YouTube channel. If you don't know by now, we have a partnership with that channel. We can see that they, well, we saw them actually going viral during the time period with Beryl, showing the corporate area halfway tree crossroads, the Kingston Harbor overlooking Kingston, not to mention the Bogwalk Gorge. And today we definitely saw in the corporate area and halfway tree specifically, definitely sunny weather being experienced, definitely a hot day in general. We know immediately after these systems it's going to be hotter than normal. We definitely had that. If we take a look at the U.S. National Hurricane Center 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook, we can see that that system that had a 20% chance of cyclone formation this morning in the hatched area has now a 10% chance, and they've shifted the hatch a bit more so towards the west, so it could possibly develop, even although it has a 10% chance, in the western Caribbean, if not the southern or southwestern Gulf of Mexico. And we see that it's going to be passing to the south of Jamaica between now and about Monday. And if we actually read Right here it states a tropical wave located over the central Caribbean Sea continues to producing some or continues to produce that should say some disorganized shower and thunderstorm activity. Development, if any, of the system should be slow to occur while it moves westward to west northwestward at 15 to 20 miles per hour during the next several days. The system is forecast to cross the Yucatan Peninsula late this weekend and enter the southwestern Gulf of Mexico by early next week. Regardless of development, gusty winds and locally heavy rainfall are possible across portions of the Greater Antilles over the next few days. And we can actually see it being represented here on the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening. We can see the tropical wave right here, affecting portions of Hispaniola, Haiti, Dominican Republic. And we can see Beryl right here in the purple. And we see another tropical wave across the main development region as we speak. The ridge of high pressure that we know of is sending all of these things from east to west across the main development region. If we actually take a look at the latest infrared satellite images of the Caribbean, we see Beryl right there spinning away, about to definitely do a number on the Yucatan Peninsula. I hope the persons here are actually getting themselves prepared. It's a category 2 now. Who knows if it will take advantage of the very warm waters and actually defy the odds again, even although it's definitely battling some things, whether it be shear, whatever the case may be. We'll see if it actually strengthens or remains a category 2. Either way, it's definitely going to be causing some damage. We can see the clouds associated with the tropical wave. Even although the wind shear is definitely ripping the thunderstorms apart, pushing the high cold cloud tops more so towards the east than anything else. Definitely some thunderstorms being had across portions of the Dominican Republic, Haiti as we speak. There are even some stray clouds that made it as far as Jamaica. Some persons reporting lightning this evening, especially to the south and east of the island. And if we take a closer look at Jamaica, we can definitely see, as a matter of fact, let's reload these images so that we have the latest. So we can see right here, we definitely have some thunderstorms passing to the south of the island. And we can see on the Guantanamo Bay military radar that there is some amount of rainfall between Haiti and Cuba right there in the blues, the greens represent light to moderate rainfall. And we can see even better on the Cuban Doppler radar images. The greens, the yellows right there off to the south of the island, to the south of Clarendon, St. Catherine, Kingston, St. Andrew, and St. Thomas. Some of this rainfall even making it into eastern portions of St. Thomas as we speak. And all of that should be on the increase as we head into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday morning. But before we talk about the rain, let's focus our attention on the other meteorological aspects. The temperatures. You can see that the temperatures right now across Montego Bay are about 27 degrees Celsius, Kingston 26 degrees Celsius. And if we take a look at the temperature forecast for 4 a.m. on Friday, temperature should dip down to about 26 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 24 degrees Celsius in Kingston. As it relates to the temperature forecast for tomorrow, we can see Jamaica right here embedded in some grays than anything else. And we can see by the key on the right, the grays represent 0 on the scale. 0 represents average or normal temperatures for the month of July. And what are the normal temperatures for the month of July? Are about 91 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about the same as 32.7 degrees Celsius. So we should be receiving that for the temperature on Friday. If not cooler, especially considering the tropical wave that's going to be affecting us. Definitely going to be feeling cooler where we're having the rainfall. As relates to the wave forecast, we can see more blues than anything else for majority of the Caribbean. That represents anywhere from 1 to 1.5 meter wave height. We can see some slight purples right there. That's expected with the tropical wave. The purples represent up to 2 meter wave heights, and that's right there to the south of Haiti, to the southeast of Jamaica. As relates to the wind, we can see that majority of the Caribbean should be receiving some east southeasterly winds. We can definitely see that flow, and we see the bluish greens, the dull greens, the bright greens, and even some yellows. So it represents anywhere from 10 to about 20, maybe gusting up to 25 knots in majority of the Caribbean as it relates to the Saharan dust forecast. So all of this wind is definitely going to be blowing the dust. And we can see the dust right here pushing from Africa as represented by the brown colors. We can also see that for 2 p.m. on Friday, we have more lighter shades of browns. That's what we like to see. The lighter shades of browns represent that, not so vigorous plume. We might see some slight haze, but not that drastic like what we would see when we have the darker shades of browns. The darker shades of browns, cause very hazy skies that can trigger respiratory illnesses, asthma, sinusitis, whatever the case may be. And we don't want that, but we know all of this is definitely pushing towards the west, all because all because of the high pressure ridges. Excuse me. All right, so let us talk rainfall. So we've been using these maps, the Euro, the GFS supercomputer models from tropicaltidbits.com. And we know the drill. We're going to be looking at the timestamp right here. We're just going to be going out to the next couple of days, just the next, 3, 4 days regarding this tropical wave right here across the Caribbean. So keep your focus right there. Right now, we can see the moisture associated with it across portions of the northeastern and central Caribbean. So let us see exactly what unfolds with this as we go out in time. So we can see that as early as tonight, this is 6Z on Friday, which is actually 1 a.m. We see some of the rainfall, the moisture to the south of Jamaica. This is just the Euro model though. Then by 15th on Friday, which is actually 10 a.m., we see more of that rainfall coming into sections of Jamaica. Then even as we go out Saturday, we still see rainfall. And by Sunday, we still see some grains, but we see that most of it has cleared out by the afternoon time. So right there, 21Z, it's actually 4 p.m. We see that most of it has cleared out. That's on the Euro though. What does the GFS show? So we see Beryl exiting the Caribbean, pushing into the Yucatan Peninsula. We see the green starting to come in. So 18Z on Friday, which is actually 1 p.m. We start to see the moisture associated with the tropical wave starting to come in. Even into Saturday, we still see a lot of rainfall. Sunday, some rainfall. And then we see that by Sunday afternoon into the evening, most of it has cleared out. Either way, we see the Hurricane Center has given it somewhat of a chance of development, more so way down the line, if not the next what, 3, 4 days, possibly making it up to tropical storm status right here. We see tropical storm status right here in the greens. We see some of the models making it up there by this time period, the most, the next 60 hours. That's about the next 1.5 days. We'll see exactly what unfolds with that if it actually makes it up to the next name on the list, which is Debbie. Well, and I'll definitely be here to keep you posted with that. We can even see the track that it takes. So, more so of a westward track right now, then curving towards the northwest. And we can also see the intensity associated with the track. Some of them making it, well, taking it up to the blues that represent tropical depression status. Right here, let's even, yes, let's come up a little bit. So the blues right here, the low pressure tropical depression status. The greens we know represent tropical storm status. We see one of the green coming over Jamaica, even turning yellow into a hurricane. We doubt that will happen, especially considering that we don't have much consensus. We just have one model. We can't depend on one model at all. If we actually look at the wind shear map for tomorrow, even before the wind shear, let's talk about the low level winds across Jamaica. So the winds coming in from the east southeast for the most part tomorrow. We see that flow. So maybe all of that air might be piling up across sections of some central and western parishes. Maybe some diurnal convection is going to be helping out the tropical wave, bringing more into for rainfall across those spots. We see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in consensus. So if it's not east, it's east southeasterly kind of flow across the island. And looking at the upper level winds, winds seem to be coming in on, well, from the north, so it could favor more of that rainfall across sections of some southern parishes in Jamaica. And we know southern parishes. Let's see if I can find the southern parishes. Right here. So southern parishes, we know we're talking about those parishes on the bottom. So St. Thomas, Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Catherine, Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland. And with the winds coming in from the east, it could definitely favor more of that rainfall across eastern parishes for the most part. We know eastern parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Surrey. So Portland, St. Thomas, Kingston, St. Andrew, right there. And as usual, if the direction for the winds are coming in from east to west across the island, All of this is going to be pushing into sections of central Jamaica, western Jamaica, central Jamaica, we know. We're talking about those parishes in the county of Middlesex. So St. Anne, St. Mirror, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine. Western parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall. St. Anniver, St. James, Trelawney, Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth. So let us actually look at the timestamp. Let's go out in time. Let's give you guys a timeline for all of this rainfall that's expected for the next 3 days. I usually do 1 day forecast, but I'm gonna be doing the 3 day forecast, especially considering I don't know how the transportation thing is going to be going. And I don't know how badly St. Thomas is damaged as yet. I'm not yet in St. Thomas. I'm going home after this. I'm gonna try to go home after this. If I don't get a vehicle, I'm gonna have to come back to work and then I don't know, spend the night sleep here. That's gonna be weird. Either way, we can see that as early as 3 a.m., the Euro model right here has some blues. And it makes sense. We can already see the rainfall. The blues represent rainfall on the satellite images, on the Doppler radar images, but we see them even more pronounced on the Euro and the GFS. At 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 2 a.m. Jamaica time, we see some blues that represent rainfall offshore, especially to the east of the island. Some of this rainfall coming in to St. Thomas and Portland on the GFS. Skipping ahead to about 10 a.m. on Friday, which is actually 9 a.m. Jamaica time, we see some differences. The Euro, as usual, being more robust than the GFS, incorporating some of Central and Western Jamaica. But we're going to be working with the GFS at most because the consensus is for rainfall in the east. As we can see right here, again, skipping ahead now to about 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually at 3 p.m. Jamaica time. Now we're starting to see the consensus. We see the agreement that both the Euro and the GFS malls are showing that we're going to be having some rainfall across eastern, central, and western Jamaica. We see the most in the way of rainfall on the Euro for eastern Jamaica with those darker blues and greens in there. We can't rule out some isolated flash flooding taking place. GFS have more of those darker blues across sections of St. Elizabeth right there. We can't rule out some of that across eastern Jamaica as well, just like what the Euro and the GFS showed. Even by Friday night or Friday evening, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 7 p.m. Jamaica time, we still see some rainfall affecting portions of the island, more so southern Jamaica than anything else, eastern Jamaica as well. Then as we jump into Saturday, this is 6 a.m. Jamaica time. Look at all this rain on the Euro and the GFS mall. And we don't normally show this far out. So this is Thursday night. And we're making a forecast for Saturday. These maps can change. This is why we always do the 1 day forecast because it is more certain when the forecast is in the short term. The longer we look out or the farther we look out in time, the forecast isn't as certain or accurate, but we're going to be working with what it's showing now. It's still showing some rainfall for eastern Jamaica by 6 a.m. on Saturday. Tropical wave definitely large enough to be lingering this much, considering that the Hurricane Center says that it's moving at 20 miles per hour. Either way, we see that on this map of the GFS, which is actually 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 10 a.m. Jamaica time, we still see some blues represent rainfall. Now incorporating sections of some eastern and southern parishes in Jamaica, so spilling into sections of St. Catherine, Clarendon, Manchester, getting in the mix. Then, as we go out in time, some more to about 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday, which is actually 3 p.m., we see that we still have the rainfall affecting portions of the island. Moving ahead to Sunday morning, this is 7 a.m. Jamaica time. Still have some lingering showers, more so on the Euro than the GFS. GFS has more of it across the east. Then by Sunday afternoon, most of it has cleared out. Look at that, more whites than anything else, even although we have some dots of blues here and there. We're seeing the consensus that little to no rainfall by Sunday afternoon. So save that washing for Sunday afternoon if I were you. The rainfall is definitely going to be doing a number on the island Friday, Saturday, as well as Sunday morning. So get ready for that. We can also see the accumulated precipitation forecast. This is all of the rainfall that's expected from now up until what 0 Z on what's this July 8th. Yeah, so 0 Z on Monday. So this is all of the rainfall that's expected. We know 0 Z stands for about what 5 hours back in time. So in Jamaica time, this is about 7 p.m. on Sunday. So this is all of the rainfall expected from now up until 7 p.m. on Sunday. So this is the next 84 hours out. We can see on the key on the right all of the rainfall that's expected and where. The greens are represent up to what? Quarter of an inch, if I'm not mistaken. Half an inch up in the golds, up to an inch in the darker reds, and up into the purples as we get into 3 inch range. And we can definitely see the consensus on the Euro and the GFS for all of this rainfall forecast. So let's start out with Florida right here. Definitely up to an inch of rainfall expected from now up until Sunday. So it could be anywhere from now between now and Sunday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday morning. Either way, rainfall is expected between that time frame for you, section of the Bahamas, the Turks and Caicos, Cuba, Haiti, the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, the US and British Virgin Islands, Antigua and Barbuda, Anguilla, St. Kitts and Nevis, Guadeloupe, Dominica, Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, Barbados. Even scrolling down, we can see a lot of rainfall in store for Northern South America. So we can see that for sections of French Guyana, Suriname, Guyana, sections of Venezuela, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, the Cayman Islands, all of that rainfall associated with Beryl heading into the Yucatan Peninsula. And we see the rainfall totals for Jamaica. Definitely the most in the way of rainfall across southern and eastern Jamaica with those darker reds up to what 2.5 inches of rainfall. And the thing is, we see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in consensus with this forecast. Even the Euro showing some purpose in there across southeastern Jamaica. I don't know that when they're in consensus like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for now. Thanks for watching.